In today's video, we're going to talk about the DC Universe information that came out last night. Now, the reason I've waited till the day after is to see what other information comes out, courtesy of trades, etc. Because a lot of that video that James Gunn made was really confusing. He didn't really explain anything, but let's break it down. So we're predominantly going to be talking about the DC Universe Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. And he did say it's not the full slate, it's just what they want to reveal currently. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here with another video on the future of the DCEU. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, pop culture-based content that we try to deliver on a daily basis. If you could, subscribe, let me know everything down below. Are you skeptical? Are you hyped? Let me know, because that video was poorly produced. He didn't really explain much. He actually went over the minor kind of information more than he went over the major information. He should have got into Green Lantern Superman straight away and explained Canon, because it's all over the place. So we're going to break it down and try and explain what the freaking hell James Gunn was trying to say. And also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And also, if you could check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. Right, let's get into this breakdown. So, James Gunn did reveal an awful lot. The DC studio bosses shared 10 projects. Quite a lot of projects, which means David Zaslav has greenlit a lot of them. Now, personally, I don't think a lot of these projects are going to see the light of day, but let's just hypothetically run this as if they are. So what are these projects? Let's try and run it in the order that he said. So, Creature Commandos, a 7-episode animated series written by Gunn that is already in production. Originally a team of classic monsters assembled to fight... I might have to bleep that word because of YouTube. This is a modern take on the concept. Voice actors have yet to be cast, but the executives are looking to find people who can voice the animated characters and also portray the live action versions when the anti-heroes show up in movies and series. Now, don't get me wrong. I love animated series. There's so many. Invincible. I love Dragon Ball Z. I watch a bunch of anime, a bunch of manga. But is this going to be a good take in the DC universe? Now, Pete Safran had this to say. To build the lesser known properties into diamond properties of tomorrow, which is what James Gunn essentially did with the Guardians of the Galaxy. One of our strategies is to take our diamond characters, which is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, David Zaslav told you to, because that's what he said before the merger, and we use them to prop up other characters that people don't know, explain Gunn. Now, I've had a lot of my friends message me about what went on with James Gunn's really misguided video, and a lot of people I know personally in real life, they're not on board because they don't seem to know what is going on. And also, they don't really want to invest in another Superman and another Batman, which I completely understand. But I think when they actually start to say real information in a cohesive way, it's funny how they're trying to build a cohesive universe, mention video games, but don't actually talk about the video games. Yeah, we're going to have a cohesive universe of movies, TV shows, video games. Where was the freaking video game announcement? Yep, the presentation. I'm sorry, James Gunn. I really like Guardians of the Galaxy, but your presentation wasn't cohesive. Meaning, not many people understood what you're on about. So, Waller, in a spin-off, Gunn's own HBO Max hit series, Peacemaker, Violet Davis will return as the ruthless and moral, ambiguous head of the government task force. It is being written by Christine Henny, Watchmen, and Jeremy Gruber, the creator of Doom Patrol TV series, and it will take place between Season 1 of Peacemaker and Season 2, meaning Peacemaker Season 2 is also being confirmed, but he didn't want to say that. Interesting. Now, this is why people don't understand what's going on. If you're going to say it's a full-scale reboot, yet Peacemaker has ties to the Justice League, Amanda Waller literally was in the scene with Black Adam and Superman. Did that not happen? We're not going to actually know until they actually comprehensively tell us. Now, that's the problem here. I do think there's a lot of potential here, but there's a lot of plot holes in this plan. Superman Legacy. Now, this should be the hype train until we know more plot details, until they reveal who Superman is, and until we actually get some information. The movie features the Man of Steel that Gunn is writing and may direct, although no commitments on that end have been made. While the two previous titles meant to be appetizers, in Safran's word, Superman is the true kickoff. The duo's DCU plan. It's not an origin story, but it really is an origin story. You'll see what I mean. Safran said, it focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth and justice and the American way. He is kindness in the world that thinks that kindness is old-fashioned. A release date of July 2025. You got 2 years to... Yeah, that's not making that date, but maybe that is going to be a push to get out in 2 years. It really is. So, that's interesting. Doesn't really say a lot. It's not an origin story, but to me, that sounds exactly like an origin story. Realistically, that is an origin story. And it's all right saying that the Superman legacy would imply he's already been established, but it's not an origin. So is it a year 2 Superman? Don't know. Don't really say a lot, to be honest. But I guess it will all depend on who is cast as Superman. What is the story going to be? But it sounds like an origin story to me. Sorry, lads. It sounds like a real origin story, which doesn't really make much sense. The Lanterns. Greg Berlanti's long-in-the-works Green Lantern TV series has been scrapped, and Gunn and Safran have parted ways with longtime DC series Stewart. In its place will be a new take on the space cops with power rings. Our vision for this very much in vein of True Detective. Okay, you're comparing it to the True Detective series. Okay, this is going to have to be fire. But the Green Lantern is something I'm really anticipating for. It could be really cool. And HBO Max do really good series like Last of Us, Game of Thrones, etc. So let's carry on. It's terrestrial based. It will feature prominent Lantern heroes Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and is one of the most important shows they have developed. This plays a really big role in leading into the main story we are telling across TV and film, which is cool, really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. The Authority, a movie based on a team of superheroes with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet, first originated in late 90s under the imprint known as Wildstorm. Ran by artist and new head of DC Publishing, Jim Lee. One of the things of the DCU is that it's not just a story of heroes and villains, Gunn said. Not every film and TV show is going to be about good guy versus bad guy, giant things from the sky, and good guy wins. There are white hats, black hats, grey hats, added Safran. They are kind of like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. They know that you want them on the wall. Or at least they believe that. That does sound pretty cool. So, Wonder Woman 3 was scrapped, and essentially we've had Paradise Lost in its place. The duo describes this HBO Max series as a Game of Thrones style drama series on an all-female island that is Wonder Woman's birthplace, Themyscira, filled with political intrigue, scheming between power plays. It takes place before the events of Wonder Woman film. Comparing something to one of the biggest TV shows ever made, it's not a good look. The Brave and Bold. This is the introduction of the DCU Batman, said Gunn, of Bruce Wayne, and also introduces our favorite Robin, Damian. He's not my favorite Robin, but Damian Wayne, who is a little son of a. The movie will take inspiration from the now classic Batman run written by Grant Morrison, who is a freaking great comic book writer, that introduced Batman to a son he never knew existed. A murderous tween raised by assassins. It's a very strange father and son story. And importantly, it will feature a Batman not played by Robert Pattinson. There is also a Batman sequel coming out October 2025, The Batman Part 2. We already know about this. So, you're casting a brand new Batman. That is very intriguing. Brand new Batman, brand new Superman. We'll talk about this more in a bit. Booster Gold, an HBO Max series based on a unique, lesser-known characters created in '86. Safran said of the series, it's about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. Gunn described it as an imposter syndrome. That every YouTuber has imposter syndrome to a certain degree. Imposter syndrome as a superhero. Booster Gold, we've wanted him in the DC movie universe for such a long time. So, yeah, I'm somewhat looking forward to that. These all depend on how well they're marketed, stellar cast, stellar production, stellar script, and who plays Booster Gold, essentially. So there is a few more. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I'm actually really looking forward to Supergirl because the TV series up to season 3 was good. So she should have a movie version of Supergirl. Obviously, we don't know if it's going to be Sasha Calle. It probably won't be. Taking its cues from the recent Tom King, very good writer. The movie promises a different take than what most think of when Superman cousin comes to mind. We will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, raised on their rock, a chip off Krypton, who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life. Then come to Earth. She is much more hardcore. Not that Supergirl we're used to. Very interesting. There are some really interesting things on this. For me, I'm most interested in the Green Lanterns TV show, Booster Gold, obviously because I'm a Superman fan, Superman Legacy, and the Batman Brave and Bold. But I do have some inconsistencies with this whole plan. So let's briefly talk about it. So this Batman is going to have to be a well-established Batman, probably 35 to 40. So he's not going to be a new Batman. He's already going to have to be well-established to have some kid that he doesn't know about. That's what the synopsis said, which is kind of inconsistent, to be honest, because if they're going with a younger Superman, yet they're going with an older Batman, cohesive, interesting. So if it's the Batman's going to have to be 35 to 40, yet Superman's going to be early 20s. To me, that's this huge inconsistency. And yes, it was obvious that they were going to introduce the Bat family. Don't get me wrong, that is a cool thing. But you got to think of the normies, not the comic book fans, not people that know about the Bat family. A lot of people don't know who Damian Wayne is. A lot of people don't even know who Dick Grayson is. Well, they do now, obviously, due to the Titans show and the fact that Dick Grayson was killed in the BVS universe. So that's very fascinating. Superman Legacy. Now, to me, I find this very misleading. It's a Superman origin story, allegedly. Why do I say allegedly? Because it just sounds like a normal Superman movie. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with the upbringing of being a human. He's the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. Here's kindness in the world. You're literally describing Henry Cavill, Superman, to me. Now, don't think that I'm not crazily overhyped because this whole new plan doesn't really make much of a cohesive sense. It just seems to me that James Gunn is making a bunch of team-up movies because that's what he knows how to do. I really like Peacemaker. I really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. But something that has triggered a lot of people is Amanda Waller is getting her own TV show. No one cares about that character, realistically, yet you're giving us an Amanda Waller series for no reason. And then we come to Canon. So you want everyone to think this is a brand new universe, but it's not being sold like that. It's being sold that you're keeping the stuff that you made yourself, James Gunn, and Pete Safran, keeping Shazam stuff, keeping the Aquaman stuff, keeping the Suicide Squad, the Peacemaker stuff, and everyone else can be rebooted, or can they? Don't get me wrong. I think there could be a lot of good actors who could be the next Superman. Wolfgang! Please make Wolfgang Superman. But where you went wrong, this announcement was, the announcement video was not cohesive at all. You should have already had your new Superman, your new Batman lined up already. What was the point in giving us all this information without any context? Then coming out saying Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, of all people, and Zachary Levi have the door open to reprise their roles in James Gunn's DCU, but it's not James Gunn's DCU, is it? No, it's James Gunn and Pete Safran, their co-CEOs. So to me, it's a cohesive idea because there's no consistency at all here. It's all right going, yeah, Superman, Batman, Brave and the Bold, 2000. Okay, to be fair, there's no release date for anything other than the Superman movie. Yeah, everything says to be announced. So in 2 years, we're getting a new Superman movie, but there's no context there. And then coming out saying, yeah, well, Michael Keaton could come back in the future if he wanted to. And then coming out and describing the Flash movie, The Flash is probably one of the greatest superhero movies ever. Of course you're going to say. And then going on, are they going to keep Ezra Miller? According to Safran, Ezra is completely committed to his recovery and the studio fully support that. But they won't if the movie doesn't bang. Now, a lot of people seem to think this is PR, them saying, yeah, Shazam's staying, Aquaman's staying, Ezra's staying. I don't think it's a PR stunt. I actually think this is what they're doing. When the time is right and when he feels like they're ready to have a discussion, we'll figure out what is the best path for Ezra for him, really. You get rid of Henry Cavill Superman, but you're keeping Ezra Miller Flash at the moment. Now, he may say Henry Cavill wasn't the right person, wasn't his Superman, but the description, focusing on a Superman, balancing his Kryptonian heritage with the human upbringing, it literally sounds like a standard Henry Cavill Superman movie. It sounds like Man of Steel 1. Now, I could be wrong. Like I said, make Wolfgang the next Superman. I would be even more hyped if he was. But for me, it's hard because there is not much to go off here. There really isn't anything to go off here, if I'm being honest. If I'm being fully transparent, I feel like a lot of people aren't being transparent with what they actually think, but they're trying to essentially keep faith. You can't get hyped for something because nothing was actually said. A bunch of random announcements. Like I said, really looking forward to the next Batman movie. Sure. I like the Robert Pattinson one. It's cool we're getting a second one. Really looking forward to whatever this Batman Brave and the Bold is. The Green Lantern show. Yeah, it's got potential. But realistically, there wasn't really anything said. James Gunn on Zachary Levi's recent controversy. I can't be changing my plans all the time because an actor says something that I don't agree with. Then you can't be a studio head because a studio head has to make brave and bold decisions. Actors and filmmakers that I work with are going to say things I agree with and things I don't agree with. Okay, that's a very factual point. But to be honest, it's not a good look at all. Henry Cavill. James Gunn says they didn't fire Henry Cavill. Henry was never cast. Like I said, he had no contract. He did the Flash movie. He also did the cameo for Black Adam. These were independent contracts. I believe it was Heroic Hollywood that told us this, paid $250,000 for both. So yeah. He didn't fire him, he just didn't hire him. But must understand why the audience is triggered. Because it's like, yeah, we're committed to helping Ezra, him on his journey back. Yet you've got someone who is the embodiment of a professional, the embodiment of Kal-El, the literal embodiment of Superman, loves Superman, and you're saying that your Superman story is a much younger Superman, yet your little description doesn't really say that to me. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of cool things. Sorry, I missed out the Swamp Thing series. The Swamp Thing series sounds really cool. They did try to do that, but it doesn't really work. So yeah, that'll be really cool. More like a horror vibe. But yeah, I'm somewhat looking forward to it. I'm not going to buy into the overhyping of things because that's just immoral and wrong. Because you can't get hyped about something that you don't know what the hell is going on. The Brave and Bold will introduce the Bat family to James Gunn's DCEU. Stop calling it James Gunn. He is only 50% of the company. Really, it's David Zassoff's DCEU. Beginning with a new actor as Batman and Damian Wayne Robin. Don't get me wrong. I'm really looking forward to finally seeing a live action version of Damian Wayne. But let's just hold our expectations and see what they say about everything first before we start hyping stuff based on literally nothing. I think it's cool they're having Elseworld storylines as well with the Joker 2 and the Batman. Matt Reeves have finally officially confirmed it. You could have said that a month ago, but you didn't. You did the vague tweet it. So I am somewhat looking forward to this new universe, but then, okay, let's go over it. Okay, Pete Safran is teasing Aquaman 3 is happening. Jason always saw Aquaman as a trilogy. It doesn't really matter what the actor says or sees, but it's interesting how Jason is safe. What, because his movie banged $1 billion? Interesting. But Shazam made like $400 million, yet he's safe. There's just too much inconsistencies here. Too much inconsistencies. And then there's information coming out saying that the Flash movie is going to go through another bunch of changes at the end of the movie. I don't really understand why Grace Randolph's getting all the accreditation here because I was told this a long time ago that James Gunn has apparently cut out the ending of the film. He's cut out Keaton. He's cut out Sasha Calle's Supergirl. He's cut out Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, but we knew about that a long time ago. They're filming a new cameo with a character from a long time ago to show that Barry can go anywhere he wants. So basically, he can go anywhere he wants in case this plan, the DC Rebirth plan, doesn't do very well and they have to just scrap everything and retcon everything. Don't get me wrong. I'm a DC Comics fan at heart. But this new plan, it didn't really finesse anyone, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it. Because, as I keep saying, there isn't much to go by. So, they're changing the ending of The Flash, allegedly, which was kind of obvious, so that this new DC universe has some movies coming out. So, the Blue Beetle movie was actually DCEU canon, but they've changed. There were some references to Superman, so I presume they've taken that out. And Aquaman 2 did have references to, obviously, Michael Keaton and Batfleck were in it. So I presume they've just taken out and reshuffled and retooled anything that had anything to do with the DC universe. It could be a really good plan. It really could. But as I keep saying, they didn't really say much, did they? I wanted it. As soon as they started saying this stuff, they should have said, yo, the new Superman, yo, the new Batman, Damian Wayne's been played by So now it's just a waiting game on Gods and Monsters to see what actually happens. Booster Gold could be really cool, but we don't really know that much about anything to do with the future of the DC universe. So I've tried to record this a few times. I've been as positive as I can without going in as hard as I can, because I can see what James is trying to do. But there's trying and there's execution. Execution has to be perfect on this Superman movie whenever it comes out. I don't believe the 2025 mandate, because that's 2 years. That's too close. If the script was finished, yeah, easy, but the script isn't finished. So like always, guys, let us know. What do you think about the new plan? What's good? What's bad? What would you change? What don't you like? I'm really looking forward to finally seeing a live-action version of Green Lantern again. I think this Damian Wayne storyline could be cool. I think Swamp Thing could be really cool. Booster Gold, finally, somewhat, I'm a bit kind of in the middle of what I think about it. I haven't really given my overall thoughts. I've just broken down some information. There's so much incontinuity, errors, and inconsistency with what's canon, what's not canon. In my opinion, you can't keep Amanda Waller, the Peacemaker people, the Suicide Squad people, and Ezra and say it's a new universe. It just looks like you're building upon the old universe, yet you're not bringing Ben Affleck back because he doesn't want to, and you're not bringing Henry Cavill back. Everyone else is still at the table to play. Obviously not Ray Fisher, but there's no reason for Ray Fisher at the moment because there's no Cyborg in this plan. A little bit disappointed there's no Justice League team up or something, because in this universe, in this DC universe, allegedly all the superheroes know each other already. I think the TV series before Wonder Woman was born is a bit of a cop-out. You should have had a Wonder Woman new movie or something. Where's all this money coming from? No idea, because allegedly they've got no money. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm somewhat intrigued. I will always cover everything on this channel, guys. I didn't cover it yesterday because I wanted to sit on it and just see what other contradictory information comes out before we break it down on the Warstu channel. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter. Warstu G, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.